Hey everyone, Zero here. In this video, I want to show off the Harpie Lady structure deck that I made. The Harpie archetype consists of mostly winged beast monsters swarming the field. They all share the same effect where their name becomes Harpie Lady while on the field or graveyard, with the exception of Pet Dragon. I am mentioning that now so I don't repeat that same effect they all share. As mentioned before, they're good at swarming the field, so they're great at XC summoning. So I added some non-Harpie cards to help support this strategy. With that being said, let's jump right in with the monsters. Just gotta separate them real quick for me, make this a little easier. So let's start with Harpie Queen. You can discard her to the graveyard to add one Harpie's hunting ground from your deck to your hand. You're more likely to going to use that effect since it's a good searcher, and it'll be easier to bring her back from the grave. Next we have Harpie Lady 1. Her name is always treated as Harpie Lady. This will also go for Harpie Lady 2 and 3. She boosts all wind monsters attacked by 300. Not a bad effect, especially if you have a full board of wind monsters or 3 copies of Harpie Lady 1. Next is Harpie Lady 2. She negates the effects of flip monsters she destroys by battle. It's pretty okay. You'd be surprised that people still play flip monsters, so I guess use her to attack face down monsters. As long as she has an attack boost. 1300 may not be enough. Next up is Harpie Lady 3. So when an opponent's monster battles this card, that monster can't attack for the next 2 turns. Honestly, it's not that great. There are so many ways around it. She was put in here just to fit the theme, and it's a structure deck, so, you know, if you got 3 copies, there will be cards not used. Alright, and you gotta have the sisters together. Here we have Harpie Lady Sisters. Can't be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned with Elegant Egotist. Seems like a bit restrictive for a monster with just 1950 attack, but once you properly summon her with Elegant Egotist, you could special summon her again by other means. She also has plays with other cards, so there are strategies involving her. Next is Harpie Channeler. You can discard her to special summon one Harpie monster from your deck in defense position except Harpie Channeler. You can only use this effect of hers once per turn, and while you control a dragon monster, her level becomes level 7. So she's really good for building your board and getting plays started. You could use her to get Oracle or Perfumer, which they can search spells, then do an XC summon. I'm not sure how that level 7 effect works. I feel like it's supposed to be used for an XC summon with Pet Dragon, but I couldn't find an XC's monster that worked with Harpies. I felt like they were supposed to make a rank 7 XC's Harpie monster, but never did. I hope they do at some point. They could. Maybe she was supposed to be used to XC's with Pet Dragon to go into Phantasm Dragon, but they decided to make it rank 4. Who knows? I'm not exactly sure at all. Anyway, next is Harpie Perfumer. If she's special summoned, you can add one spell or trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Harpie Lady Sisters. And if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster, when you activate this effect, you can add another spell or trap with a different name. This is a really good searcher and can really help you get your plays going. Next is Harpie Oracle. So with her, you can special summon her from the hand if you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster. And if she's normal or special summon, you can add one spell or trap that lists Harpie Lady Sister in its text from your graveyard to your hand during the end phase. It's pretty good to get one of your cards back from the grave, especially Elegant Egotist. Next we have Harpie Harpist. When she's normal summoned, you can target one other winged beast monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls and return them to the hand. During the end phase, if she's in the graveyard because it was sent there this turn, you can add one level 4 winged beast monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. Pretty solid effect. You can bounce an opponent's monster and search for one of yours once you send her to the grave. And if you have Divine Wind of the Mist Valley when you do this, you can do a special summon from the deck. Next is Harpie Dancer. You can target one wind monster you control, return it to the hand, then you can normal summon one wind monster. This effect works great with Hunting Ground to remove some of your opponent's back row, and with Divine Wind, Mist of the Mist Valley, to do some special summons. Next, we have Harpie's Pet Dragon, Fearsome Fire Blast. With him on the field, monsters can't target level 6 or lower Harpie monsters for attacks. You can special summon him from your hand in defense position if you control a level 6 or lower wind monster. And if he's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one winged beast from your deck to your graveyard. You can send Harpist to the grave to use her graveyard effect too. He's also really good at protecting your monsters and can lock your opponent from attacking if you have Pet Baby Dragon on the field too. Speaking of, here we have Harpie's Pet Baby Dragon. He gains effects based on the numbers of Harpie monsters you control. With one, your opponent can't target Harpie monsters you control for attacks except Pet Baby Dragon. With 2, you double the attack and defense of this card. With 3, you can target one card your opponent controls and destroy it. He has some pretty solid effects, and they're pretty easier to accomplish in this deck. Alright, so these next few monsters aren't of the Harpie archetype, but I think they'll be very helpful. Starting us off, we have Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. You can discard this card and one wind monster to the graveyard to add one dragon monster from your deck to your hand. You can banish a total of 2 wind monsters and or dragon monsters from your hand or graveyard, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard. And during your opponent's end phase, if you control this special summon card, return it to the hand. And lastly, if this card is banished, you can add one wind dragon monster from your deck to your hand. This guy is really easy to play within this deck, considering you got nothing but wind monsters, and have 2 other dragons. Next we have Mist Valley Apex Avian. Once per chain, when a card or effect is activated, you can target one Mist Valley card you control, return it to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy it. Pretty okay effect. You can return your Divine Wind of the Mist Valley or Apex Avian to activate this effect. Next up is Cocatorium, the Heavy Metal Avian. If he's in your hand or graveyard, you contribute one Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster, special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can also banish one level 4 or lower Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monster from your deck. This card's name becomes that banished monster's name, and it also becomes the same type, attribute, and level as that monster's until the end phase. This effect is useful to get Harpie Lady on your field in case you need one to use one of your spell cards, like Phoenix Formation. Alright, and here we have one of the newest staples, Molcharmi Forlos. This little guy here is basically everyone's call who wants Max C unbanned. So if you control no cards, you can discard this card and apply this effect. Each time your opponent special summons a monster from the deck or extra deck, immediately draw one card. And once, during the end phase, if the number of cards in your hand is more than the number of cards your opponent controls, plus 6, you must randomly shuffle cards from your hand into the deck so the number in your hand equals the number your opponent controls, plus 6. Not as strong as Maxi, but this gives you more cards than what you started with, so that's still pretty good. Here we have Ghost Mourner and Moonlit Chill. She's a pretty good hand trap. If your opponent special summons a monster face up, you can discard this card, then target one of those face-up monsters, negate its effects until the end of this turn. Also, if that face-up monster leaves the field this turn, its controller takes damage equal to its original attack. She's kind of like a Effect Veiler with extra steps. Of course, your opponent has to special summon in order to negate it, but in the game's current state, that's a given. And they take damage as a bonus. And last of the main deck monsters, we have Ash Blossom. Of course, another staple to stop one of your opponent's plays, and she's also just a given in decks. Now that we're done with the monsters, let's move right on to the spells. Starting off, we have Harpie's Hunting Ground. This field spell boosts all your winged beast monsters' attack and defense by 200. If any Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is normal or special summon, the player who conducted the summon targets one spell or trap on the field, that player destroys that target. With the amount of ways to summon your Harpie monsters, this is a solid way to get rid of your opponent's back row. Although this effect is mandatory, so if this goes off and your opponent has no spells or traps, then you have to destroy one of yours. This could be a good thing, like destroying Alluring Mirror Split or Hysteric Sign. So there is that. Next up is Harpie's Feather Rest. Target 3 Harpie Lady and or Harpie Lady Sisters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, then draw 1 card. If you control a level 5 or higher Harpie monster when you activated this effect, draw 2 cards instead. After this effect resolves, you can't special summon monsters except wind monsters. And of course, not a detriment in this deck. Next, we have the infamous Harpie's Feather Duster. I even added the alternate art with it. I want to say Cyber / Harpie Lady? It does look like her the most. Anyway, this destroys all spells and traps with your opponent controls. This is still a powerful card, which is why it's still limited. Next is Harpie Lady Phoenix Formation. If you control 3 or more Harpie Lady and or Harpie Lady Sisters, target as many monsters your opponent controls as possible, up to the number of Harpie Lady and Harpie Lady Sisters you control, destroy their targets, and if you do, inflict damage equal to the highest original attack amongst those monsters destroyed. You can't special summon monsters from the main deck or extra deck, nor conduct your battle phase the turn you activate this card. This is good to use when you have your board filled up and to destroy your opponent's monsters and deal some damage to them. Next, we have Elegant Egotist. If you have a Harpie Lady on the field, this card lets you special summon 1 Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters from your hand or deck. Next is Swallow's Nest. This quick play spell card lets you tribute 1 face-up winged beast monster, special summon 1 winged beast monster from your deck with the same level the tributed monster had on the field. It's pretty good to use 1 monster and get another one back into the field to use more effects. Next we have Alluring Mirror Split. This continuous spell lets you special summon 1 Harpie monster from your deck with a Harpie Lady or Harpie Lady Sisters is destroyed by battle. And it has to be a different original name. If this card if you control destroyed by a Harpie's card effect or your opponent's card effect, special summon 1 Harpie monster from your grave. As I mentioned before, this card works well with Hunting Ground. Next is Hysteric Sign. When you activate this continuous spell, you add 1 Elegant Egotist from your deck or grave to your hand. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there from the hand or field this turn, add up to 3 Harpie cards with different names from each other from your deck to your hand. This is also easy to pull off thanks to Hunting Ground and any of the discard effects. Alright, so here's an interesting one. Phalanx Pike. This equip spell gives your monster 900 attack for each card in either grave that has the same name it does. Typically, it would max out at 1800 since you can only have 3 copies of a card in your deck. you'd have one on the field and two in the grave, but with the Harpie monsters, changing their names to Harpie Lady, the attack boost would be insane, which is why I added it into this deck. Next is Summon Storm. Pay 800 life points, special summon 1 level 6 or lower wind monsters from your hand. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 level 4 or lower wind monster from your hand. Next is Swallows. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Kauri? I'll figure that one out. With this quick play spell card, tribute 1 winged beast monster in your hand or face up field. Add 1 winged beast monster from your deck to your hand with the same level the tributed monster had. Here's some more draw power with Wing Requital. If all monsters you control are winged beast monster and you control at least 2 monsters with different original names, pay 600 life points, draw 2 cards. Excuse me. It's really easy to do in this deck. And here we have another field spell, Divine Wind of Mist Valley. Once per turn, if a wind monster you control returns to the hand, you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower wind monster from your deck. As I mentioned earlier, I think this works great with Harpist, Dancer, and even Cyber / Harpie Lady. Here we got Terraforming. This will be used to search for one of your field spells. Next up, Mystical Space Typhoon. This quick play spell card lets you target 1 spell or trap on the field and destroy it. And here we have Monster Reborn. Self-explanatory. We've seen it enough times to know what it does. Here we have another staple with Called by the Grave. This is here to stop one of your opponent's hand traps, you know, if you have it in hand. And here's a good card to have in case your opponent does use an effect on your turn. Triple Tactic Talent. If that happens, you can either draw 2 cards, take control of one of your opponent's monsters until the end of the turn, or look at your opponent's hand and choose 1 card and shuffle it back into the deck. Pretty solid options. And that's it for the spells. Let's move on to the traps. Starting off, we have Storming Mirror Force. When an opponent monster declares an attack, return all your opponent's attack position monsters to the hand. I added this to go with the wind theme of the deck, and to also get around monsters that have destruction protection. Next we have Harpie's Feather Storm. If you control a winged beast monster until the end of this turn, negate any monster effects your opponent activates. If you control a Harpie monster, you can activate this card from your hand. If this card in its owner's spell and trap zone is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can add 1 Harpie Feather Duster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So this is pretty good to stop your opponent's monster effects as long as they are activated. If their monster effects are continuous effects, then it won't work on them. Aside from that, I think it's still pretty good considering you could activate it from your hand or get your Feather Duster if they destroy it. Next is Hysteric Party. By discarding 1 card to activate it, this card lets you special summon as many copies of Harpie Lady as possible from your graveyard. And when this card face-up card leaves the field, destroy those monsters. You can easily summon up to 5 since all Harpie monsters named become Harpie Lady in the graveyard. This could be good to either build up your defenses or go into extra deck summons. Next is Harpie Lady Elegance. Shuffle 1 Harpie Lady Sisters from your monster zone into the deck. Then you can special summon 3 Harpie monsters with different original names. 1 each from your hand, the deck, and the graveyard. And for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you can't special summon monsters except wind monsters. If this card you control is destroyed by a Harpie's card effect or your opponent's card effect, add 1 Harpie monster from your deck to your hand. If you have Hunting Ground on the field and chain these two cards together, you can use the full extent of this card. And last on the traps, we have Infinite Impermanence. Another staple that would come in handy, negate any opponent's monster effects. You could use it from your hand if you control no cards. And if you use it like a normal trap, then you could just cancel out the whole column. Alright. Now, onto the extra deck monsters. We got some Harpie monsters, and I added some other non-Harpie cards that I think would help support them. So let's start with the Harpie monsters. So we're starting off with Cyber/Harpie Lady. She needs one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters. The cool thing about her is you can treat one Harpie monster you control as a tuner for her synchro summon. When a spell or trap or effect is activated, you can target one monster your opponent controls or one Harpie monster you control, return it to the hand. This is a pretty solid effect to bounce an opponent's monster, or you can bounce yours to do certain plays. Next up is Harpie Pet Phantasmal Dragon. Requires 3 level 4 wind monsters to exceed summon. This card's effect can only be applied resolved while it has material. He can attack your opponent directly, and your opponent can't target any Harpie monster with card effects or for attacks. And during each of your end phases, detach one material from this card. So this guy here just prevents your opponent from using target effects and from battling. And they can't really stop this effect with conventional means since it's a continuous effect and doesn't have an activation. The only way around this card is with a non-targeting effect. Next up, we have Harpie Conductor. She needs 2 wind monsters as link material. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. If a Harpie monster you control would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can destroy one spell or trap you control instead. If another face-up Harpie monster you control returns to the hand, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So she's good at protecting your Harpie monsters and getting rid of any spell or trap you might want removed. And her second effect works well with Harpist, Dancer, and Cyber Slash. Alright, now for the non-Harpie cards, we have Castel the Sky Blaster Musketeer. He needs 2 level 4 monsters as Xyz material. So with him, you can either use up one material to change one face-up monster to face-down defense position, or use 2 materials to target one other face-up card on the field and shuffle it into the deck. He's great at getting rid of any problematic card your opponent might have. Next is Tornado Dragon. He needs 2 level 4 monsters as Xyz material. He's basically like Mystical Space Typhoon with his effect. Detach one material and destroy a spell or trap on the field. Next we have Lightning Chidori. He needs 2 level 4 wind monsters as Xyz material. If he's Xyz summoned, target one set card your opponent controls, return it to the bottom of the deck. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, return it to the top of the deck. He's great at getting rid of your opponent's cards. Next is Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto or Daigusto? He needs 2 level 4 monsters as Xyz material. Once per turn, you can detach one material and either target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle them into the deck, and draw one card, or target one non-effect monster in your graveyard and special summon it. There's no non-effect monster in this deck, so you'll only be using the first effect. The first one is pretty good at recycling your cards and drawing. Next up is Ice Beast Xerophine. She needs 2 level 4 Winged Beast monsters as Xyz material. Once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material, negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls, and if you do, she gains 300 attack for each face-up card on the field. The effect negation and attack boost isn't too bad as long as it goes through. And to end things off, we have Great Fly. He needs 2 wind monsters as link material. All wind monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense, and all earth monsters on the field lose 400 attack and defense. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target 1 wind monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. He's good at making your monsters stronger and bringing a card back to your hand. And that is it for the Harpie Lady structure deck. I think this could be a pretty good structure deck for newcomers, and maybe even get some new support. It wouldn't be too far-fetched considering Rush Duel has a Harpie structure deck. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, leave a like and comment or subscribe. It'd be awesome if you did all 3. Anyway, until next time, see ya!